the alarm, they're ready. They hear the alarm, they're ready to hop into their gear and slide down the pole, and they're out of there. To me, that's a really good example of anticipation.
It's a really good analogy, that.
Yeah, it is a really good one. And interestingly enough, the only other thing I came up with when I did that word study was from the prophet Isaiah in the Bible. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall walk and not be weary. They shall run and not faint. Teach me, Lord, to wait. Teach me how to anticipate what's coming. Teach me how to be ready.
I assume anticipation has a version for pieces of expectations in it.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the same vibration.
Yeah, it's like making your future vision ready for what is coming. Very proactive. Extremely proactive. Yeah.
We should be living like that every day, all day, every day.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah.
Or at least for the most part. More often than not.
I think that's part of the reason why I'm really drawn to following the astrology as it happens or as it's coming, because there's a lot of visionary stuff in that, and there's a lot of hints about what's coming, about the energy that's coming, right?
Yeah. We had the fireworks here on Australia Day. We went up to the beach to watch them. And after the fireworks, the moon came out and it was massive. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
I took a couple of photos, but they just did not do it any justice. It was massive.
Yeah.
Right over the Indian Ocean. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
A version of the expectations, exceed and let us down. So, I mean, the expectation has something to do with being attached to them.
Yeah.
It could also be that the expectation isn't aligned.
Yeah.
With the cosmic vision.
Yeah.
And even in the anticipation, we don't necessarily look at what are we expecting or what are we anticipating. Not that we should or shouldn't, but just sometimes I think even it's always there.
Mm. Yeah, because we're never going to get it done. Abraham Hicks says that all the time. Just chill, she says. You're never going to get it done.
Wow, yeah, yeah, yeah. The I don't know sequence comes in powerfully for me there. As in, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And allow anticipation to inform.
Mm.
That anticipation can turn to disappointment when the expectations are different.
That's why it's important that your expectations are informed.
Without squashing anticipation.
Yeah, as in teach me to anticipate correctly.
Mm,
Sync up my
Powerfully.
vision to cosmic. Is there a question there, Jesse?
No, just no.
That's why it's important to me to find intention in the field. And bring it into the 3D.
So, Craig, what's your intention to bring into the 3D? Like, is it goals that you're focusing on? Is that what you mean? End results? Like, I'm just thinking in intention.
Yeah.
In our field.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our own field.
This kind of extension is something we were talking about a couple of days ago. um, I forget the word we were using. But it's kind of like thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
That kind of thing. So
Yeah.
so you go into the field with this expectancy. You allow the field to inform you of the intentions that are meant for you. To live through and to live out. I know I'm working on it, but I certainly don't have the perspective to know what I want or to know what the creator wants. I have a hard time even knowing what I want, you know?
So have you written your goals down that you want to achieve this year then? Some things. I mean, God, the world's your oyster, Craig. You got options, you got choices.
Yes.
More than most. A lot of people feel trapped or isolated or all these different things, So embrace that when you're sitting at the ocean front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Breathing your wee butt off.
Yeah. It actually got warm here yesterday.
It was -7 in Scotland yesterday. My poor mum was cold when I spoke to her.
Yeah, I think it was +17 here yesterday.
Okay.
Which is not bad for January here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually around about 10.
Fabulous.
Are you in the UK, Alison?
Sorry, no, I'm in Australia. I was just speaking to my mum in Scotland today.
Oh,
yeah, Western
that's
Australia.
what I thought,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but you've got a Scottish accent a little bit, I think.
Yeah, actually, Ali, that's what I've been doing the last few months here is working on capturing a really broad vision. And volunteering for it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, and at this point, it's all pretty conceptual. And I think one of the reasons why it's taking time to come to me is because I need to be able to match the vibration of it. I need to be able to resonate with it.
Yeah.
And also, and at the same time, a lot of space is opening up. As in a lot of unresolved things are coming to resolution. And that creates the space for the vision and the resonance and other stuff. Because it's so much bigger than me that it's like, oh my gosh. It's like the field knows me and knows what I'm ready for and when. So all I really need to do is stay open, stay ready,
Yeah.
stay in anticipation, and
Mhm.
it comes when it's time. As the Bible says over and over, in the fullness of time. Yeah, exactly.
See that prayer you started to say earlier. My mum had that on a little plaque, a little ornament plaque, and I used to read that as a little girl. And then I was thinking about it then, I can't even remember. I'd need to Google it, get it up. It's been a few years.
Yeah.
But once you get going, you remember these things, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, it's my bedtime here in Australia.
Wow.
Everybody's got school tomorrow. So happy days, school's back.
Yeah, exactly.
All the moms are happy dancing the tomorrow.
Well, thank you for sharing this with us today. I'm really glad you were here.
Thanks, Craig. Yous have a great day, all of yous. Good night. God bless.
Okay, love and hugs. Wow. She just gave me a whole new perspective on what's going on. Thank you, Les.
On that anticipation. You just think of a child's anticipation for their first day of school. Wonder what they expect, what they anticipate. Why some like it, or why some look forward to it and others don't. All in what is school made up to be?
It would be an expansive perspective.
Sorry, Heinz, I missed that.
Expanding perspective.
Mhm. Yeah, continuing to expand it when it's shut down and limited and closed off.
Yeah, it's limited to the house now. From tomorrow, you'll be able to see the world through the school. His world is getting bigger.
Mm.
He may like it or he may not like it, but it will still be expanding.
Mm. And whether we like it or not depends on what we focus on.
And it also depends on what our expectations is to it.
Mm-hmm.
You expect to meet some new friends, and unfortunately, you meet a bully.
And that's part of the expectation, right? Like that could happen. And to expect it, to be prepared, means anticipate it.
Yeah.
So we know what to potentially do rather than being surprised or hurt, right? Or caught in it, attached to it. Or letting that outside experience change it.
Yeah, for me, it's about being informed in advance of, but also being informed as you're moving through. And all that is a sensitivity to the field. Bringing that down into day to day, it's about being sensitive to the energies that are around you. The energies inside you, the energies projecting from you, the energies in your environment. It's a sensitivity to all of that. To me, that's a practice of awareness, or a practice of focus, if you want to use that word. You know, Ali asked me what my goals were for the year, and just thinking about that now, especially since the beginning of January, I've spent a lot of time intentionally just processing stuff, and I never really considered exactly what I was doing in that processing, but now I'm understanding that it's been about flushing away old energies and making space for new ones. And spending a lot of time in the field.
How do you spend a lot of time in the field?
What I've been doing is and this is my thing. I don't necessarily know that it's going to work for everybody, but for me, I find an activity that's really that I can kind of do without thinking, what I can do without engaging my mind, like some kind of mindless activity. So, for example, a few years ago, I painted the whole exterior of my house, and that was a time where I was doing a lot of that. I was spending a lot of time in the field and was just letting my mind wander and do what it wants, those kind of things. And yeah, painting for me is a mindless activity, so it was perfect. And what I've been doing now is I found I've been spending a lot of time at the public library, and believe it or not, they have a huge collection of jigsaw puzzles at the library. So I'll spend a whole day at the library just doing jigsaw puzzles. And letting my mind wander and let my being just peruse the field and what's there. So I've been doing a lot of that the last 4 weeks. So yeah. Didn't realize how fruitful that whole activity has been until today, though. Thank you, Ellie. Oh, and what helps too is I've found I found some binaural beats recordings that are meant to put you in a delta or a theta brainwave state. And I'll listen to those too. So that's actually a huge part of it, is to be able to put your brain in a theta state or less.
Like you were saying, Craig, we might not realize how fruitful it is until later. Might take a couple of actually the body to register what you've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I didn't realize how fruitful that has been until today. Because from the outside, it looks kind of obsessive, but for me, it's very therapeutic and very super conscious.
Life is sort of like laying that jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't make any sense until the last piece is in.
Yeah.
Then you get the whole picture. It's like the story with Noah. The ark couldn't float until the last day he put the last piece of lumber in. Then it was ark.
Yeah. Yeah, can you imagine spending 100 years building a boat in the middle of the desert? Like, everybody thought the guy was nuts.
Yeah, in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, is that anticipation or what?
Ian, what does going into the field, how does that mean? How does that work for you?
Going into innocence.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's what works for me too.
And just whatever comes to be.
Mm-hmm.
When I get into innocence.
Yeah. So, we've learned the same, like it's innocence leads to intuition. It's like I've added a new one past the intuition as inspiration. It's like innocent bridges intuition, which for the point of intuition is to bridge inspiration. To inspire.
I feel like it's people's eyes as well. Like with my friend, when I look into her eyes, I can tell when she's feeling sad or when she's feeling happy. You can just see it in her eyes.
Yep.
Like she was saying there the other day, and I was like, why are you feeling so sad? She was like, how do you know? And I said, you can just see it in your eyes. You can just, you know.
Yep. And we can see it, we can feel it, we can hear it. That is when we have the intention and the practice and the skill and the intention to be that, which ultimately is like being present with someone.
Like there's a guy called Jake. I go to his events sometimes. He does like meditation events, retreats and stuff. I went to his on New Year. It's like a meditation party thing. And because he can read energy, he said to me that he can feel the shifts within me. And you can tell I've been doing some work. I've been doing the work. And then he just said your eyes have gone brighter. So you can just see it. People who can read energy can just see it. I didn't say that I've been doing my Metta mind to him. He just said you can tell your energy's really shifted and your eyes have gone brighter.
And was that true for you?
Yeah, I've been feeling shifts, a lot of shifts. So I didn't even say anything to him. He just said it. I was like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to one of Chris's live events, Jesse?
No, I haven't.
I'm going to one tomorrow. It's virtually, but it's his live event. So I'm going virtually.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah.
In San Diego.
Gotcha. Craig went to that one last year.
Yeah, I actually went to two. I went to the 3-day one in November in San Diego, and then just a year ago, just now, the end of January last year, I went to the 5-day Recode.
Yeah, that's on tomorrow. That's the one I'm going to. And I'm going virtually though, because you can buy a virtual ticket as well. So
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad they're finally doing that.
me too. Even though it's online, I'm really happy. And they're doing breakout rooms instead, so like so we can practice. So yeah.
So now Ian's sitting with anticipation for tomorrow.
Yeah, he is.
The synchronicity.
So what
Do you feel a big? Sorry, Jesse.
Go ahead, Ian.
I was just going to say, Craig, did you feel a big shift after the 5-day event?
Did I feel like what?
'Cause that's what I'm expecting. A big shift, like a shift in your energy, like.
Yeah. And part of the reason for that was that we spent pretty much the first 3 days all working with intuition. And yeah, and it blew me away how acute my intuition abilities actually were. Like I had no idea how sensitive I had become.
I've discovered that, like, because I've been doing circle work, on the mastery. And the first time I ever did the circle work, I said to a lady that I can see you designing wedding dresses and doing weddings. And she said, yeah, I've got a sewing machine right next to me, but I couldn't see it. And the opposite side of the room and I'm doing wedding dresses. Okay. I was like, whoa, straight away.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how intuitive I was. And then I said to another lady that she's an animal communicator because I could feel it. And she said, yeah, she could talk to the raccoons in the garden, but she's scared to tell people because of what they'll think. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, it wasn't just a shift. It was more like an earthquake.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm really excited about going for 5 days. And I can do it from home as well, so yeah.
Yeah. I get supercharged though anytime I'm with a huge group of people that are all focused on the same thing. And that does amazing things for me.
That's the gift of the empath.
Yeah. Yeah. Which can also get you into big trouble if you don't realize it.
Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest thing that I would like is, because what I've come to see is I find it hard to see the bad in people. I find it hard to just see the bad in people. I see the good in people. And what I come to realize is because when I was a kid, my home environment was so toxic that I learned to see the good in my parents and see the good in the people around me. Because if I saw the darkness and the bad in them, I don't think I would have survived it. So I learned to see the good in people. But I'm choosing to see the dark in people as well. So that's the biggest thing that I want to, because not everyone's got good intentions. Not everyone is a good person. So I want to start seeing that again instead of just seeing, oh, the good in people,
Yeah, that's a great insight to have. Yeah.
Like I've been very
So
naive in
as
the
you were
past
growing up,
because
your
I've just
window
seen the
dressing
good.
all the people.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow.
And I've just been very naive because I've seen the good in people. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that are clearing out. If we'll allow them to.
I'll do whatever it takes. That's just how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
I've got more resistance for not doing the work now. Like if I don't go on an implementation session, I've got more resistance for not going on it than going on it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you pick and choose what you engage with. Is that what you mean?
No, like before, like it would be, I've just got more resistance to not doing the work than doing the work. Whereas before, when I first started, I had more resistance to doing the work.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's been a shift. Yeah, there's been a shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
The path of least resistance has changed in terms of doing the work.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm curious now because I've been doing the intuition. What's your feeling? Because I've been practicing, like when you get a feeling that it's a yes and a feeling that it's a no, what is yours? Like I feel like mine, because I've been practicing, when it's a yes, my heart feels open and expansive, and when it's a no, I can feel it in my stomach like this knot.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you might have your inner authority might be based in your solar plexus then. Interesting.
Just been practicing. What does abundance feel like? Abundance feels like my heart is open. It feels expansive. What does lack feel like? I feel a knot in my stomach. And then you apply that to situations like if you get a yes or no, if somebody asks me to do something. If I get a knot in my stomach, then I say no.
Yeah.
If I get my heart feels open and expansive, it's a yes. That's what I've been
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah. That's good. That's really powerful for you, isn't it? Or empowering.
Yeah, because before I'd just say yes to everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm mainly number 2 on the Enneagram. So
Yeah. Wow, you guys, it's been a real valuable session.
And Ian, as you work with others, that's all you're listening for is what expands them, what's expanding them, and then what's limiting that expansion.
Sorry, I didn't hear you properly. I didn't catch all that.
As you're preparing for your session for tomorrow, the whole point is to listen for what expands people. So that's what they want, right? And then you're looking for what's in the way, so what contracts. And that's what you recode, is what's in the way of that. And so as you listen to the yes and no's for yourself, then you will start to be able to listen to other people's yes and no's, expansion, contractions. That's the structure. So it's, and then you just learn the form, which is what things could be there, and follow the intuition for what questions to unpack.
Yeah, I remember when it was a couple of months ago before I started the intuition, and you said to me, Jesse, about there's some blocks around love, and I was like, how the hell does he know that? Well, I know how you know it now, so. But at that point, I was like, how did he know that? Because you were spot on.
Thank you. One of the another moment I had was I was working with someone. It was around love too. It was around her marriage and love, and loving herself, and it hit me that English is her second language. So as a child, she was speaking Spanish. So if you think about that, then our internal dialogue was in Spanish. So what she was telling herself was in Spanish, and she was trying to release it in English. I got the intuition to say, well, you let it go by saying it in Spanish, in your native tongue. That was the block, that's what I couldn't get around. It just wasn't, it wasn't to the point. It wasn't to the root. So now, anytime I work with multiple languages, it's like that's always in my background. So that to me just points to the importance that people for themselves unpack what's in their way and what they want. And then all we are is, like, in that is we're guides to help them find the right tune, if you will, the right words.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's the wobble, wiggle, giggle. And so you know you've done it when there's the giggle.
Yeah, but the whole thing about doing it in Spanish, that's a big deal, actually.
It helped me see the importance of using our own words.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Jesse, like after you started Magnetic Mind, like the intuition part, how long did it take you to actually be as intuitive as you are? As I feel like you're like really intuitive. Like
Every day.
every day.
You know, to the point that you trust it. And that's what I would say, is to the point in which you trust it. And now, do I still trust it? I mean, it's still, I still work to trust it. Yes. But to go with it in a conversation, like to have a conversation with someone else, that's easier than having one with myself. So it's like our intuition is always there. It's just we just haven't developed the skill.
And letting go of the need to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. And when you get the, oh, I got to say this, but it's like, oh, why? I don't know why. I don't understand. It's like just throwing it out there, right? Those tend to be the biggest impacts. Because if you think about it, you both have a resistance to it. They can't see it, which is part of the resistance, and you're bringing it in, but then you're learning to bring it in. So then there's two resistances in it. And that is where that's the importance of working together. I think you know when you trust it, yeah. And when you trust it, then you start looking at timing, because then timing becomes a big element in it.
Still working on trusting Weiger, but Trisha Beck, one of the coaches, she always says to me that when I'm tuned in, I'm really intuitive, so I need to trust it. He's like, "Oh, you're really intuitive when you're actually there."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that becomes a dance, right? It's like, oh, like, is it my ego or is it my intuition? You know, the ego is
I
just
feel
worried
like I'm
about getting
learning
it
to
right.
learn the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like I'm learning to the difference because when it's my intuition, it's just always loving.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said the other day, what I've been going is like you can't be any more or less worthy. If you're on stage helping a million people, or you're sitting at home watching a movie, you can't be as worthy as anyone else because we're all one. It's only the ego that says, "Oh, I'm better than you. We're all equal." So it's that feeling I get about being equal, and yeah, I know it's my intuition then.
Yep. Yep. It's equal, whole, complete, genius. Yes, and. So the reason why I say yes and is because for me, what I found is that when you could hear people's passions, like, oh, that's their expansion. And as soon as you'd ask, like, and then they would follow it with a but or an or, and right there, it's like, oh, look, they came out of the creative structure into the problem orientation structure, and they're going to tell me all the reasons why they can't have it. Those are just the limitations and blocks that they put in front of it, which is why they're not going to have it, because they end their whole conversation with those. It's an oscillating loop. That's why we stay stuck. So I
Like
began
now,
to.
I can tell when.
That-
Sorry, just say.
Go ahead, Ian.
I was just gonna say, now I can tell when it's my superconscious, when it's my higher self, 'cause it's just always very loving. Like,
Mhm.
always very loving, always very encouraging, always very gentle and nurturing.
Mhm.
And when it's my ego, it can get like critical, and it can, you know,
Mhm.
it's not the same gentleness and the same nurturing. So I'm learning to tell the difference.
Yep. Yep. And I find the ego is something I've told myself before, and intuition's kind of out of the blue. That's how I also spoke it. And then, if the superconscious is always positive to neutral, right? I'm always listening for the positives in the conversations and my own conversations, and then the negatives, because that's telling the same thing. And I mean, but negatives, I mean charges, like anything you can hear when you speak with people, right? You can hear the excitement, the anticipation, right? The what they really love, what they really want, the excitement. And then when they tell you why they can't have it changes. It goes to a restricted, a negative version. Without fail. Structure.
The house still comes in for me a little bit, but not as much.
Listen, ask the question. And sometimes in the negative, right, we always say, oh, we have to recode that or do something, but not always. Like sometimes just people need to express and speak about why they're sad. That, I mean, at the end of the day, all the recode is doing is letting go. You know,
I think
sometimes
that's
the
why
best
I've integrated it.
that
Hey, I was gonna say, I think that's why I've integrated. Like yesterday, I was feeling a bit sad, but it's like there's nothing wrong with feeling sad. It's part of a human emotion, and I just let
Yep.
myself feel it. Like
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with feeling sad. It's not. I don't need fixing, so I'm feeling sad. It's a human emotion. Just feel
That's
it.
right.
Part of being human.
That's all it is. That's all it takes. That's structure. Look at you work at structure. Yep. Otherwise, you're fixing it. And fixing it is just a unresolvable. It's it doesn't allow, what's there. It's a problem orientation. And I think even our teacher around that doesn't know how to teach that yet. Yeah, it makes sense, right? Because the money's made on the recode.
Yeah, like I used to if I was feeling sad or whatever, I used to run to a meditation, the emotional flood, or well, now I don't. I just let myself feel it. Like there's nothing wrong with feeling sad. I don't need to do meditation. Just feel it.
Right. It's the expectation that it has to be something else. And it's just fine that it's that, because it's just information. There's some information in there. Now the timing is, when does it come out? That's all moving through breakthroughs, right? Different layers of it. So well, gentlemen, thank you. It's been a great morning.
Thank you for an expanding day.
Thank you, Heinz.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Great being with you.
Much love.
Thanks.